In the beautiful village of Akata, there lived a young girl named Itoro. Itoro's parents were very hardworking people, but no matter how hard they worked, they couldn't still provide for or care for their children. Itoro was the oldest child, and she had two younger siblings, whom she loved so much. Because Itoro could not sit and watch her parents struggle every day, she started running errands for the other villagers of Akata from a very young age. She would help people fetch water, wash their dirty clothes, and even shop at the market for them. There was nothing Itoro did not do to make extra money so she could support her family. As the years passed, Itoro grew older and she grew into a very attractive and beautiful girl. As Itoro grew older, one thing really stood out in her body: her big breasts. As a teenage girl, Itoro had very big breasts, even bigger than those of the older women in the village, and this drew a lot of attention to her, especially from both young and older men. By the time Itoro turned 17, men began to flock around her, not because they wanted to marry her, but because they wanted to sleep with her. Despite everything the men said to convince Itoro to accept their proposal, Itoro would turn them down. Even though Itoro came from a very poor home, whose parents could barely afford 2 healthy square meals in a day, Itoro refused to stoop low and accept the unholy proposals. Some men would even offer to pay Itoro if she agreed, but she still turned them down. Itoro, I can't believe you are this stupid, Mfon, Itoro's friend, said to Itoro one evening. That day, Mfon and Itoro were strolling in the village, but before they reached their final destination, more than 4 men had stopped to talk to Itoro. After her conversation with the 4 men, Itoro told Mfon what the men were asking her to do. How do you mean? Itoro asked innocently. So you have all these men at your tail, and you want to discard all of them, Mfon said. But I just told you I cannot do what they are asking me to do, Itoro said. My friend, if you say that one more time, I will be mad at you. Tell me, are you the first girl that will be sleeping with men for money in this village? Look at how attractive you are, and you're wasting all of it, Mfon said. Wasting it? Mfon, I don't like what you just said. You know our parents raised us to value our bodies and not give it to any man who isn't our husband, Itoro said. Oh, please. Look at how you are suffering. You barely eat twice a day and don't even dress like a girl. How long do you want to keep living like a pauper? And now that God has decided to bless you, you want to waste the opportunity, Mfon said. So, are you saying I should accept their offer? Itoro asked. Yes, of course. You're not sharp at all. I'm not even the one who's supposed to be telling you all of this. See, if you let this opportunity waste, I will be angry with you. If I was the one who had your body and big breasts, do you know how much I would have made by now? Mfon said. Let me think about it, Itoro answered. You better think about it, you better think about it, Itoro said. When Itoro went home that evening, she couldn't stop thinking about what Mfon had said. Mfon was right, Itoro was suffering, and the men's proposal seemed like her way out of poverty. I think I will do what my friend has said. I can no longer continue to live like this. I work so hard, yet I eat like a rat. Even my parents go out every day to do different things, but they have nothing to show for it, Itoro soliloquized. The following day, while on her way to wash clothes for a woman who lived in her neighborhood, Itoro met one of the men who had been disturbing her, and she said yes to him. Without wasting time, the man told Itoro to come to his house that evening, and Itoro agreed. That afternoon, Itoro hurried with all her chores, and when evening came, she went to the man's house. Since she didn't want her parents to know that she was out of the house, Itoro hurried at the man's house, and after they finished sleeping with each other, the man gave her 5,000 naira. All of this for me? Itoro asked excitedly as she counted the money. Yes, and there will be more for you if you continue to be a good girl, the man said. Thank you very much. I will leave now. I don't want my parents to know I'm out of the house, Itoro said. Okay, I understand. But before you go, tell me when you will visit me again. I enjoyed you so much, and can't wait to be with you again, the man said. Don't worry, sir. You will see me soon. We can plan another meeting, but for now, let me go home, Itoro said before leaving. Since the man's house was just a stone's throw from where Itoro lived, she got to her house pretty fast. Luckily for her, parents did not know she had even left the house. When Itoro reached the house and settled in her room, she took out the money and counted it again to be sure her mind was not playing tricks on her. Oh. So I can make this kind of money in one day. Chai. My friend was right. If only I had started this earlier, I would have been very rich by now, Itoro soliloquized. In fact, I know what to do. Let me go and see my friend, Itoro added. Then she went to her parents to tell them that she was going to Mfon's house to see her briefly. Mfon, he gave me 5k. Can you believe that? Itoro said excitedly to Mfon. Didn't I tell you that you were just wasting this your big breast? Now, you have seen what you have been missing, Mfon said. I didn't even tell you. While coming here, I stumbled on one of my toasters, and said yes to him. Do you know the man even gifted me 3,000 naira for saying yes to him? I will see him tomorrow, and I'm so excited, Itoro said. That's good. But make sure you use protection while you're with them, oh. So you don't get pregnant or contract any infection, Mfon said. I already know that. I will be leaving now. I just wanted to come and tell you how it worked out, Itoro said, then she left. The following day, Itoro went to see her next client early in the evening. After spending about an hour with him, the man gave Itoro 10,000 naira. The man was married, but Itoro did not mind. All she cared about was the money and pleasure. In the days that followed, Itoro continued sleeping with other men for money. It got so bad that sometimes, she would sleep with 2 or 3 men in a day. In fact, because she was now making so much money from sleeping with men, she stopped doing little chores for the villagers and focused on what was paying her more. Precisely 6 months after Itoro began to sleep with men, something terrible happened that forced her to leave Akata village. Unfortunately for her, one of the married men's wives she was sleeping with caught Itoro and her husband in bed one day, and she beat Itoro mercilessly and disgraced her. When the news of Itoro's act reached her parents, they were so disappointed in her, and they refused to take her in because she had brought shame and ridicule to the family. The whole time Itoro had been helping her parents with money or buying food in the house, she told her parents that she had gotten a new job that paid her well, and her parents believed her, not knowing that their daughter had been sleeping around with men in the village for money. Papa, Itoro, I have said my own. Warn your daughter, if I see her in this village, I will kill her. Does she know how much I suffered for my husband? She wants to reap where she did not sow and ruin my marriage, right? The angry woman said. Please, forgive her, she is still very young, and she will not do it again, Itoro's father tried to beg the woman. She is very young. You call a girl with breasts bigger than mine very young. See, if you know what is good for your daughter, let her leave this village, If not, it will not contain me and her. I will show her that a lioness never plays with her mate, the woman said. Unfortunately, after several people begged the woman to forgive Itoro and she refused, Itoro was forced to run away from Akata village. Everyone in Akata knew that if she wouldn't leave, the woman would hurt her because it wasn't the first time the woman had hurt someone who offended her. Luckily for Itoro, she had saved some money, so she ran to Osom, a neighboring village, where she started a new life. At the neighboring village, Itoro tried to continue with her business of sleeping around with both young and older men, but business wasn't moving there as it did in Akata village. The majority of the men in the new village were fishermen, and they made little profit from selling their fish since there was very high competition. After several weeks of trying to survive on the little money she had saved, Itoro was forced to call her friend Mfon to come to the neighboring village. Business is very bad here. It's like the men here are very faithful, and they don't cheat on their wives and girlfriends, Itoro complained to Mfon. Oh, didn't you hear that Osom village is the land of very strong black magic? Mfon asked. What do you mean? Itoro asked. The reason your business is slow is because the women here have tied their men with black magic. That's why they don't have eyes for any other woman, Mfon said. No wonder, Itoro said, it has to be the only reason because I am very attractive. Sometimes, I even go as far as seducing the men, but nothing works, Itoro said. Maybe you will have to do your own black magic too. It's the only way you will make money, Mfon advised her. You know I don't like fetish things. They always come with a condition, and I prefer to be broke than to be involved in anything fetish, Itoro said. My sister, you have to decide. It's either you choose to do something about the men, or you find something else to do. Remember that your parents have disowned you, so you don't have anyone else to turn to, Mfon said. Okay, I will do it. But if I do any charm, I can't settle for the fisherman in this village alone. I will travel to different places, too. The men here don't have money, and I don't want to settle for peanuts, Itoro said. Later that week, the two friends asked around and found a powerful JuJu man in Osom village. Since Osom village was a well-known place for JuJu, it wasn't difficult to find one. Upon arriving at the JuJu man's shrine, Itoro and Mfon sat on a small stool and waited for the man to come out. Welcome, my daughters. What do you want me to do for you? The JuJu man asked. Baba, I want a charm that will make me very attractive so men will see me and give me their money. I want them to be attracted to my big breast, so whenever I say or ask them for something, they will do it for me, Itoro said. My daughter, you want a charm that will make you irresistible to men? The JuJu man asked. Yes, Baba. Especially this my big breast. If there is a way men can give me money just to suck it and not sleep with me, I will be very happy, Itoro said. My daughter, you do not have to worry. Tell me what you want and consider it done. This shrine you have come to is the shrine of all possibilities. I will do all you have said. Give me a minute, and I will be right back, the JuJu man said before entering a small inner room. While in the inner room, Itoro and Mfon could hear the JuJu man saying some incantations, and a couple of minutes later, he returned to them. Take this soap. I want you to use it to have your bath every morning until it finishes. Make sure you do not sleep with any man until this soap finishes. Then come back to the shrine on the day you finish the soap, the JuJu man said as he handed Itoro a small black soap wrapped in plantain leaves. Thank you, Baba. I will return here after I finish using the soap, Itoro thanked the JuJu man and left with Mfon. The next morning, just as the JuJu man had instructed, Itoro used the soap for her morning bath. That afternoon, when she went to the market to buy some foodstuff, she realized that a lot of men were staring at her. Could it be because of the soap? Itoro soliloquized, "Oh. So this Baba is as strong as they said," Itoro added. The following morning, shortly after Itoro bathed with the soap, she decided to go out and walk in the village, just to see if any man would notice her. To her greatest surprise, the same men who used to ignore her began to ask for an opportunity to speak with her. That wasn't all. Itoro was also shocked when some women began to talk nicely to her and admire her outfit. When this happened, Itoro stopped going out until she finished using the soap. Just like the Baba had instructed, the last day Itoro used the soap, she went to the Baba's shrine for instructions. "Oh, Baba, you're too much. You will not believe how many men tried to follow me here. They could not stop talking about how attractive I looked and how they just wanted to touch my breast, Itoro said excitedly when the boba came out of his inner room. I told you. There is nothing impossible here. Now, you mentioned that you wanted to be wealthy, right? The JuJu man said. Yes, Boba. I want to be very wealthy. In fact, I want to be one of the richest women in this village. I want everyone to respect me when they see me. I want the news of my wealth to even travel to my village, Itoro said. Trust me. I will do whatever you want. But for you to make the kind of money you want, I will do something for you, and after that, you will open a church, the JuJu man said. A church? Itoro asked in shock. Yes, you will have to start a church. That is how you will make your money and attract the kind of men you want, the JuJu man said. Oh. Boba, I don't know if I can do that. I thought God calls people first before they start a church, Itoro said. Look at you. Do you know how many people come to me to ask for a charm to help them start a church? I will give you everything you need. You do not have to worry, the JuJu man said. NN. Boba, I also noticed something too, Itoro said. I noticed that women are also attracted to me, she added. Oh. It's the charm. You said you wanted to be very attractive, and I did that for you. Don't worry, when you start your church, I will instruct you on how to handle both men and women, the JuJu man said. Go and think about what I said, and come back here in 3 days. Also, you can sleep with whoever you want. You can go, the JuJu man said, and Itoro left the shrine. When Itoro returned home that day, she called her friend Mfon and told her what the JuJu man had said, and Mfon encouraged her to do it. After 3 days of contemplation, Itoro finally decided to start her church. Take this charm, you will bury it at your church's location, and I will take care of the rest, the JuJu man said as he handed Itoro a small calabash. About a week after Itoro received the small calabash from the JuJu man, she rented a small room where she would hold her church services, and the very first Sunday she opened the church, men and women came in their numbers. Are you enjoying this story? Tell your favorite part in the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Also, do not forget to turn on your notification button so you can get a buzz whenever we upload a new story. Praise the Lord. My dear brother and sisters, I am happy that you're all here today. I know you have all been used to praying every day before God answers your prayers, but I am here with good news. The Lord has sent me on an assignment, and it's nothing you have ever seen before, Itoro said. He has sent me to set the captives free with my breast of salvation. If you have any issues, whether it's a marital problem or financial problem, you don't have to worry anymore. All you have to do is suck my breast, and all your prayers will be answered, Itoro added. When Itoro said what the JuJu man had instructed her to say, she was a bit scared the people would not do what she said, but to her greatest surprise, immediately she said that, both men and women stood up and created a line. We are ready to do what you ask of us, one of the men in the line said. As you suck my breast, so will your problems disappear, Itoro said as she unbuttoned her blouse and removed one of her breasts from her brassiere. Come, she beckoned at the man in front of the line to walk to her, and he did. Upon getting closer to Itoro, the man sucked her breast for some minutes, then he returned to his seat. One after another, all the people who attended Itoro's church that day sucked her breast before she continued service that day. Everything happened so smoothly and easily that even Itoro was shocked when no one complained. After church service that day, Itoro went home, and as soon as she opened the door, she found money littered on her floor. While the church members believed they were getting a solution to their problems, they did not know that Itoro had tricked them into selling their stars. The JuJu man had done something on Itoro's breast that each time anybody sucked her breast, the person would transfer his or her glory/star to her. Also, The charm she had buried beneath the church was to make the church members turn dumb so they wouldn't differentiate right from wrong. I cannot believe this, Itoro jumped excitedly when she saw all the money on the floor. To confirm that the money was real and her mind was not playing tricks on her, Itoro touched the money and even counted some of it. Mfon, oh, that Boba has elevated our lives, Itoro soliloquized. Let me call my friend and tell her that our lives have changed, oh, she added. Mfon, it has happened, Itoro said over the phone as soon as Mfon picked up her call. What had happened? How did the church service go today? Did anyone show up? Mfon asked all at once. Yes, more than 40 people showed up, and I was so glad. It was almost like they were waiting for me to open the door, Itoro said. What about what the Boba said? Did you do it? Mfon asked. Yes, I did. Oh. You need to see how everyone was rushing to suck my breast. My friend, that's not even why I called you. You need to see the money in my room. I'm so happy, Itoro said. I told you it would work. Didn't I? You just focus more on getting more members. The more members you get, the more money for you, Mfon said. But you know that one person cannot suck my breast twice, else I will have repercussion like the Boba said, so I need more people, Itoro said. Don't worry, I will be in Osom village tomorrow, and we will evangelize together. We will invite so many people to your church so you can make more money, my friend, Mfon encouraged her friend. That evening, after she had ended the call with her friend, Itoro counted all the money, which was 320,000 naira. Imagine if I made this kind of money every Sunday. I would be so rich, Itoro soliloquized. The following day, Mfon arrived in Osom village very early in the morning, and later that day, she and Itoro went around the village to invite people to the church. Even during the evangelism, men could not stop flocking around Itoro. It was almost like everyone was trying to get her attention. Luckily for the two friends, at the end of their 5 days of evangelism, everything turned out successfully, and they gathered many people who agreed to attend church. That Sunday, Mfon did not return to Akata village, she stayed in Osom village to see how the service would turn out. To their greatest surprise, the room was filled, and because of how many people there were, some were forced to sit outside the church. That day, Itoro told her new church members that God had instructed her to tell them the only way they could go to heaven was by sucking her breast, and they all believed her. Without wasting time, both men and women stood in a single line, and they were ready to suck Itoro's breast. Like the previous Sunday, as each church member sucked Itoro's breast, lots of money appeared in Itoro's room. In fact, the money was so much that Itoro and Mfon could not finish counting it in one night. It took the two friends 2 whole days to finish counting all the money. Oh, Mfon, this is the life. This is how it should be, Itoro said excitedly as she counted the money. You have been wasting your time all this while. Tell me, how many men would you sleep with to make all this money, Mfon said. Mfon, you're such a good friend. I couldn't have done this without you. Thank you so much, my friend, Itoro said. If you want to thank me, make me your treasurer, Mfon said. Okay, please be my treasurer. You're the only one I trust in this whole wide world, Itoro said. That new week, Mfon and Itoro did not need to do any evangelism because something strange had happened. The people who sucked Itoro's breast claimed they had a revelation, and God told them to continue going to Itoro's church. But that was not all. The first set of people whom Itoro told would receive the answer to their prayers, mysteriously received the answer to their prayers, and they returned to church to testify. On Sunday, those people returned to the church to testify, and Itoro was shocked that their prayers were actually answered. Because of this, when the other villagers heard that sucking Itoro's breast could bring a solution to their problem, people began to go to her church in numbers, especially the men. For months, Itoro's church boomed, and every Sunday, she would do the breast-sucking ritual, which gave her a lot of money. Without even sleeping with any man like she had imagined, Itoro made so much money, which allowed her to build a huge and beautiful house in Osom village. She also bought a car and bought many beautiful fabrics for herself. As time passed, the news of Itoro's miracle breast spread far and wide, and people from neighboring villages began to go to her church for help. People who had difficult issues would take their properties and even promise to give them to Itoro if she could give them the opportunity to suck her breast and help them. People were forced to even offer their properties because Itoro had become so busy and important that she didn't have time to attend to all her church members in a day. Sometimes, so many people would line up to see her, but at the end of the day, only half of them would see her. Things continued like this for almost a year, and no one in Osom village questioned Itoro and her actions. They all believed that they would definitely get a solution to their problems and go to heaven once they sucked her breast. While all this was happening, there were certain people in Osom village who did not fall for Itoro's lies and deception. They were the women who were heavily fortified with JuJu before Itoro arrived in Osom village. Unfortunately for these women, their husbands were members of Itoro's church and they didn't like it. They knew that Itoro was not genuine and that God did not call her to start a church, so they decided to do something to ruin Itoro's church and get their husbands out of their claws. What do we do to stop this woman from stealing our husbands from us? She has turned them into foolish sheep, and they don't even know what they are doing anymore, one of the women said. My sister. Do you know that my husband no longer eats my food or sleeps with me? Whenever he returns from her stupid church, all he does is talk about her, another woman said. That is why we must teach her a lesson in this village. From the first day my husband started going to that church, our lives have been turned upside down, yet he believes that everything is perfect. Before, he used to catch a lot of fish and make a lot of profit from it, but now, he is just there. Even though he spends a whole day trying to catch fish, he will only return with what we can eat, another woman said. I think I know what we need to do to her. You know my father is one of the strongest JuJu man in this village. I will go to him and tell him everything. He will know what to do, the first woman said. 2 days after the women gathered to plot how to bring down Itoro and her church, one of the women went to see her father, one of the most powerful JuJu men in Osom village. After the woman explained everything to her father, he gave her a bottle of water and instructed her to sprinkle it in front of Itoro's church a night before her Sunday service, and the woman obeyed. One Saturday night, which was a night before Itoro's Sunday service, the woman snuck to Itoro's church and emptied the content of the bottle in front of the church. The following day, Itoro opened the church as usual, expecting that people would come in their numbers, but after waiting for hours and no one showed up, Itoro became very worried. Give them time, I'm sure they will show up, Mfon tried to convince Itoro. But this has never happened. By this time, the church is usually filled and overflowing with people. What could be wrong? Itoro said. I'm sure everything is fine, Mfon said. It's better be fine because you know what will happen if no one sucks my breast today. That Boba said the repercussion is terrible, and I don't want to find out what will happen, Itoro said in a teary voice. You know what? Let's go out and do evangelism. Maybe they want us to come and call them. You never can tell, Mfon said. Oh. Mfon, no matter what happens, one of the church members has to suck my breast before 12 noon. You know I used to make them do that part in the morning so I would not have to rush by 12, Itoro said. Don't worry, we will see someone before it's 12 o'clock, don't worry, Mfon said. Shortly after that, the two friends left the church to invite the villagers to their church. When Itoro saw some of the villagers, she expected them to greet her with respect like they usually did, but something happened. When the villagers, especially the male villagers, Itoro, they all looked at her with disgust on their faces. What's going on? Why are they all looking at me like that? Itoro asked in shock. I don't know, I am surprised myself. I don't know why. Maybe something is wrong somewhere, Mfon said. Oh. But I did everything the Boba told me to do. This shouldn't be happening, Itoro began to cry. Are you sure you did everything? Mfon asked. Because these people look like they hate you, Mfon added. Please, let's go to another neighborhood and see if we can find some people, Itoro said as she hurriedly walked away. When the two friends entered another street, Itoro expected that the people there would treat her better, but that didn't happen. Instead, some of the women began to throw sticks and stones at her and they called her a husband snatcher. Did you hear them? I think that Boba's JuJu has expired. Right now, I feel very uncomfortable in my breast. It feels like something is biting my skin from the inside, Itoro said. Come, let us hurry back to the church. We will call the Boba when we get there. Also, you don't know if some members showed up while we were away, Mfon said. Upon arriving at the church, which was a few minutes to 12, Mfon noticed that Itoro couldn't stop scratching her breast. She scratched it so bad that she even began to bleed. Itoro, stop, you're hurting yourself, Mfon yelled at Itoro. I can't control it, Itoro said. Almost immediately, Itoro began to take off her clothes and dance without control. Then she fell to the ground and began to convulse. When Mfon saw that, she ran to help her friend, but before she could do anything, it was already too late. Itoro died on the spot, but that wasn't all. Her two breasts suddenly became rotten, as if she had been dead for a long time. Knowing that if the villagers of Osom saw her, they would accuse her of killing her friend, Mfon ran away to a distant village, and no one ever saw her again. Even though Mfon was the one who pushed Itoro to do all the horrible things, she went scot-free, absconded with all of Itoro's money, and Itoro suffered the consequences. Did you enjoy this story? Tell your favorite part in the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel. Also, do not forget to turn on your notification button so you can get a buzz whenever we upload a new story. Thank you.